For 30 days, I committed myself to the practice of quantum manifestation, a concept that blends science, spirituality, and the power of human consciousness into one transformative approach to creating reality. At first, I was skeptical. I had heard people talk about the law of attraction, affirmations, visualization, and energy fields, but the term quantum manifestation felt more advanced, more mysterious. It suggested that there was an underlying fabric of the universe that connected everything, and if I could align my thoughts and emotions with that field, I could influence my experiences directly. I decided to dedicate 30 full days to testing this theory, not as a blind believer, but as an experimenter seeking proof through my own life. The first few days were filled with confusion. Quantum manifestation is not just about repeating affirmations or making vision boards. It's about understanding that consciousness itself affects the quantum field, the invisible matrix of energy and information that forms the basis of all things. Every object, thought, and event in our reality vibrates at a certain frequency. By tuning my inner state to match the vibration of what I desired, I could theoretically draw that outcome into my experience. But knowing the theory was easy. Feeling it was the challenge. I had to unlearn years of subconscious programming that told me life happens to us, not through us. So I started by observing my thoughts. Every morning, I'd spend 10 minutes sitting quietly, noticing the constant stream of mental chatter. I realized most of it was negative or neutral, rarely expansive. My thoughts revolved around doubt, small worries, or replaying old events. If the quantum field mirrored my energy, then I was manifesting more of the same stagnation. That awareness alone was eye-opening. Over the next several days, I practiced shifting my focus deliberately toward gratitude and possibility. Each morning, I'd choose one desired reality, such as abundance, confidence, or peace, and imagine already living it. The key wasn't just to think it, but to feel it in my body as if it were already true. That emotional alignment, according to quantum theory, is what collapses possibilities into form. By day 7, subtle changes began. I noticed my mood improving even when nothing external had changed. People around me started responding more positively, as if my new energy was altering the interactions I attracted. Small synchronicities appeared. A friend I hadn't spoken to in years messaged me out of nowhere with an opportunity that fit something I had been visualizing. It was as if the universe was saying, "Yes, you're on the right track." I realized that manifestation wasn't about control, but about resonance. The universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to coherence, when your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs vibrate in harmony. During the second week, I focused on mastering emotional consistency. Quantum manifestation requires stability because emotional turbulence scatters energy. I practiced meditation and heart coherence exercises, focusing on generating emotions like love, gratitude, and excitement. I learned that the heart emits a powerful electromagnetic field that interacts with the quantum field around us. When that energy is elevated, our influence expands. Each time I meditated, I visualized my goals not as future dreams, but as present experiences. The more I did this, the more I noticed reality subtly bending to reflect my inner world. My intuition became sharper. I began waking up with inspired ideas that led to real outcomes. It wasn't that miracles dropped from the sky. It was that I was becoming aligned with the version of me who could see and seize opportunities I previously overlooked. By day 15, I faced my first real test. Old fears resurfaced, doubts about whether any of this was real or just coincidence. I had a difficult day where things seemed to fall apart. A project got delayed, a conversation went wrong, and my energy dipped. But then I remembered that the quantum field doesn't distinguish between good and bad. It simply reflects vibration. My frustration was pulling in more frustration. So I stopped resisting and chose to observe my emotions without judgment. That night, I practiced what many teachers call quantum detachment, the art of letting go. I visualized handing over my desires to the universe, trusting that unseen forces were organizing everything perfectly. The next morning, my stress had dissolved, and the project that seemed lost was suddenly revived through a surprising email. It was a humbling reminder that trust is an essential part of manifestation. You can't force the field. You must flow with it. As the third week began, my sense of self started transforming. I felt lighter, more grounded, yet deeply connected to something vast. I started noticing repeating numbers, songs that spoke directly to my thoughts, and random strangers saying things that mirrored what I'd been meditating on. It was as though reality itself was communicating with me through patterns and symbols. I realized that quantum manifestation isn't about bending the world to your will, it's about awakening to the interconnectedness of all things. When you operate from love and alignment, you naturally attract experiences that match that frequency. It's less about getting and more about becoming. I wasn't chasing abundance. I was embodying the state of someone who already lived in abundance. In this period, I also learned the power of imagination. Science has shown that the brain doesn't distinguish between imagined and real experiences. It activates the same neural pathways. So I began creating vivid mental movies of my desired outcomes. For example, if I wanted to attract new creative opportunities, I'd imagine myself feeling the excitement of collaborating, seeing the results, and celebrating success. I'd focus on sensory detail, the sound of voices, the feeling of accomplishment, the warmth in my chest. Then I'd release the image and go about my day with gratitude, knowing that the seed had been planted in the quantum field. Within a few days, new opportunities started showing up organically, aligning perfectly with my vision. It felt effortless, like surfing a wave instead of swimming upstream. By the 4th week, I began to experience a profound shift in how I perceived reality. I no longer saw my desires as distant goals, but as inevitable outcomes. I became aware that time, too, is flexible. The quantum field operates beyond linear time, so what we call waiting is often just the process of alignment. The universe rearranges circumstances at the perfect pace, and impatience only delays that process. I learned to live as if, maintaining the energy of already having what I wanted. My focus was on being, not begging. The more I practiced, the more effortless manifestation became. People started describing me as lucky or magnetic, but I knew it wasn't luck. It was quantum coherence. When your internal vibration is steady and high, you naturally attract realities that match it. Throughout this journey, I also discovered the importance of subconscious reprogramming. Quantum manifestation operates not only through conscious thought, but through the deep layers of belief that run our lives. If the subconscious holds limiting beliefs like "I'm not worthy" or "money is hard to get," it sends conflicting frequencies into the field. I began using techniques like affirmations, self-hypnosis, and nighttime visualization to rewire those old patterns. Over time, I noticed that my inner dialogue shifted from doubt to certainty. I stopped asking, "Will it happen?" and started affirming, "It's already happening." That subtle change in language carried immense power because it shifted my state from lack to abundance. By the final week, the results spoke for themselves. Unexpected financial blessings appeared, creative collaborations blossomed, and even my health improved. But the greatest transformation wasn't external. It was internal. I felt connected, empowered, and aware that I was co-creating my reality in every moment. The world no longer felt random. It felt intelligent, responsive, and alive. I understood that everything around me, every person, opportunity, and challenge, was a reflection of my inner state. When I radiated peace, life mirrored peace. When I radiated gratitude, more reasons for gratitude appeared. The universe wasn't something outside of me. It was within me, responding to my consciousness. By day 30, I realized that quantum manifestation isn't a trick or a shortcut. It's a discipline. It requires awareness, emotion, patience, and faith. It asks you to become the version of yourself who already has what you desire. It's not about trying harder, but about aligning deeper. The quantum field responds not to words, but to vibration. When you embody the feeling of love, abundance, health, or success, you emit a signal that calls those realities toward you. And when you detach from the outcome, trusting that what you seek is already on its way, you allow the universe to deliver in ways more beautiful than you could plan. Looking back, the 30 days felt like both a lifetime and a moment. I entered the experiment hoping to manifest things, but I ended up manifesting a new level of consciousness. Quantum manifestation taught me that reality is not fixed. It's fluid, a mirror reflecting our most consistent vibrations. Every thought, emotion, and belief contributes to the holographic projection we call life. The most powerful lesson was this: we are not victims of circumstance. We are architects of experience. What we hold in our minds and hearts eventually solidifies in our outer world. Energy flows where attention goes, and attention guided by gratitude, trust, and love becomes creative power in motion.